Nicholas Lou Saban Jr. is an American football coach who has been the head football coach at the University of Alabama since 2007. Saban previously served as head coach of the National Football League's Miami Dolphins and at three other universities: Louisiana State University, Michigan State University, and the University of Toledo. Saban is considered by many to be the greatest coach in college football history. Saban led the LSU Tigers to the BCS National Championship in 2003 and the Alabama Crimson Tide to BCS and AP National Championships in 2009, 2011, 2012, and college football playoff championships in 2015, 2017 and 2020. He has won 7 national titles as a head coach, the most in college football history. He became the first coach in college football history to win a national championship with 2 different Football Bowl subdivision schools since the inception of the AP poll in 1936. Saban and Bear Bryant are the only coaches to win an SEC championship at 2 different schools. Saban's career record as a college head coach is 276-69-1. In 2013, Saban was inducted into the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Saban has also coached 4 Heisman Trophy winners at Alabama: Mark Ingram II, Derrick Henry, Devonta Smith, and Bryce Young. Early life and education. Saban was born in Fairmont, West Virginia, to Mary and Nick Lou Saban, sister. He grew up with a sister, Diana, and graduated from Monongah High School in the small community of Monongah, West Virginia, about 25 miles southwest of Morgantown. Saban is of Croatian ancestry. His paternal grandfather, Stanko Saban, was born in 1895 in Gospic, in the Lika region of Croatia. Stanko emigrated to Portland, Oregon, in 1908, when he was 13 years old. He later married Anna Mihalik, of Croatian-American heritage. Saban played quarterback on the 1968 West Virginia State Championship team. Among his teammates were Kerry Marbury, who went on to star for the West Virginia Mountaineers and play in the Canadian Football League. On December 18, 1971, Saban married Terry Constable, also from West Virginia. In 1973, he graduated from Kent State University with a bachelor's degree in business. Saban played defensive back for Kent State under coach Don James. He and a roommate avoided being part of the Kent State shootings, on May 4, 1970, when they decided to eat lunch before walking to the rally area. In 1975, Saban earned his master's degree in sports administration from Kent State. Saban's father died during his son's first year of graduate school. Coaching career. Early coaching career. Saban had not intended to enter the coaching ranks until Don James hired him as a graduate assistant at Kent State, while Saban waited for his wife to graduate. He later served as an assistant coach in NCAA Division IA, at several schools: Syracuse in 1977, West Virginia in 1978 and 1979, Ohio State in 1980 and 1981, Navy in 1982, and Michigan State from 1983 to 1987. After the 1987 season, Kent State passed over Saban for its vacant head coaching position and hired Dick Crum. Saban was then hired as an assistant for the Houston Oilers in the National Football League. Toledo. Saban began his career as a head coach when he was hired by the University of Toledo on December 22, 1989. Coming off of 6-5 seasons in both 1988 and 1989, the Rockets found quick success under Nick Saban in 1990. With the 9-2 season, Toledo was CO champion of the Mid-American Conference. The 2 games the Rockets lost that season were by narrow margins, 1 point to Central Michigan and 4 points to Navy. While coaching in Toledo, Saban turned down an application from future head coach Urban Meyer, who was looking for any coaching job on Saban's staff. Cleveland Browns. The following February, Saban resigned as Toledo's head coach after only one season in order to become defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns under head coach Bill Belichick. He remained in that position for 4 seasons. Saban later said these 4 years were the worst of my life. Michigan State. Saban became head coach of Michigan State prior to the 1995 season. Michigan State had not had a winning season since 1990, and the team was sanctioned by the NCAA for recruiting violations that were committed under his predecessor and former mentor, George Pearls. Beginning in 1995, Saban moderately improved Michigan State's fortunes, taking the Spartans to bowl games in each of his first 3 seasons. From 1995 to 1997, Michigan State finished 6-5-1, 6-6, and 7-5. In comparison, MSU had finished 5-6, 6-6, and 5-6 in 1992-1994. On November 7, 1998, the Spartans upset the number 1 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes 28-24 at Ohio Stadium. However, even after the upset and an early season rout of then highly ranked Notre Dame, the Spartans finished 6-6, including 3 last-minute losses featuring turnovers, defensive lapses, and special teams misplays, and failed to earn a bowl invitation. Saban led the 1999 Spartans to a 9-2 season that included wins over Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. The 2 losses were routs at the hands of Purdue and Wisconsin. Following the final regular season game against Penn State, Saban abruptly resigned to accept the head coaching position with LSU. Saban's assistant head coach and successor, Bobby Williams, coached the Spartans to a Citrus Bowl victory over Florida, giving the Spartans an overall record of 10-2 for the 1999 season. It was the most wins for the Spartans in a season since 1965, and the Spartans reached their highest ranking since the 1966 team. Future NFL head coach Josh McDaniels served as a graduate assistant on Saban's 1999 coaching staff. LSU. In November 1999, LSU named Nick Saban as their 31st head football coach. In 2000, the Tigers went 8-4 and won the Peach Bowl. The season was somewhat marred by several lopsided losses, including a 34-17 loss to the Auburn Tigers, and a 41-9 loss to the Florida Gators. Saban led LSU to a 10-3 record in 2001, including an SEC championship and a Sugar Bowl victory. After a loss to the Ole Miss Rebels, the Tigers finished the year with 6 straight wins, including a win over number 2 Tennessee in the 2001 SEC championship game, and a 47-34 win over Illinois in the 2002 Sugar Bowl. It was the first outright SEC championship for LSU since 1986, and the first time the Tigers had won the Sugar Bowl since 1968. The 2002 season opened with high expectations, but a 26-8 loss at the hands of Virginia Tech raised serious questions about their outlook. However, the Tigers would rebound to win their next 6 straight, but after a mid-season injury to quarterback Matt Mock, LSU lost 4 of its last 6 games to close the season, including a 21-20 loss at Arkansas, which knocked the Tigers out of the SEC championship game, and forced them to share the SEC West Division title with the Razorbacks. LSU also suffered a 35-20 loss to Texas in the Cotton Bowl Classic, and finished 8-5. The 2003 Tigers started the season with 5 wins, including a 17-10 victory in Tiger Stadium over the defending SEC champion, and then undefeated, Georgia Bulldogs. LSU lost the following week to Florida, 19-7. After the loss to Florida, LSU did not lose again in the regular season and ended its regular season with a win over the Arkansas Razorbacks to win the SEC West. After winning the SEC West, the Tigers defeated the Georgia Bulldogs in the SEC championship game in Atlanta. They were ranked number 2 in the BCS standings and advanced to play the BCS number 1 Oklahoma Sooners in the Sugar Bowl, which was the host of the BCS championship game in 2003. The Tigers won the game 21-14. The win gave LSU the BCS National Championship and a 13-1 finish for the season. LSU finished the 2004 season 9-3, after losing to the Iowa Hawkeyes in the Capital One Bowl 30-25 on a final play touchdown pass. Other losses that season were on the road at Auburn 10-9, and a loss on the road to Georgia 45-16. At the end of the 2004 season, Saban left LSU to coach the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Saban accepted the head coaching position for the Miami Dolphins on December 25, 2004. He was the sixth coach in the franchise's history. The Nick Saban era officially kicked off with a 34-10 win over the Denver Broncos in 2005. From there, however, the Dolphins struggled, losing 7 of their next 9 games to fall to 3-7. The 2 wins came over the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints, a game that took place in Tiger Stadium due to Hurricane Katrina. After a frustrating 2 months, however, the Dolphins would rally late in the season, as they won their final 6 games, including a win to end the season in Foxborough, Massachusetts over the New England Patriots. The team finished the year with a 9-7 record, and narrowly missed the playoffs in Saban's first season. Going into the 2006 season, the Dolphins were expected to contend for a playoff spot. The season, however, turned out to be a major disappointment. The Dolphins were considering quarterback Drew Brees, who had just been released from the San Diego Chargers due to a career-threatening shoulder injury and subsequent contract dispute, but instead signed Don Culpepper, who was still recovering from a knee injury from the previous season. Culpepper never fully recovered and was ultimately benched after the 4th game of the season, when the Dolphins lost to the Houston Texans. He was eventually put on injured reserve. After starting the season 1-6, however, the Dolphins got hot. They won 4 straight games, including wins over the Chicago Bears, who were previously unbeaten and made it to the Super Bowl that year, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Suddenly, the Dolphins were back in the playoff hunt at 5-6, but a 24-10 loss the following week to the Jacksonville Jaguars all but ended their playoff hopes. The Dolphins would rebound the following week with a 21-0 win over the New England Patriots. The win would be the last bright spot for the Dolphins in the 2006 season. Quarterback Joey Harrington was eventually benched in favor of third-string quarterback Cleo Lemon. While the defense was very good, the offense was anemic, with the only bright spot being running back Ronnie Brown, who gained over 1,000 rushing yards on the season. The Dolphins would lose their next 2 games to the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets to finish 6-10, Saban's first losing season as a head coach. On November 27, 2006, the University of Alabama announced the firing of head coach Mike Shula. Saban was rumored to be at the top of Alabama's wish list, but Saban refused to discuss the job while his NFL season was still underway. During the month of December 2006, Saban was repeatedly questioned by the media about the Alabama job, and he repeatedly denied the rumors in his weekly press conferences, stating on December 21, "I guess I have to say it. I'm not going to be the Alabama coach." Saban met with Alabama officials on January 1, 2007, which was shortly after the Dolphins' season-ending loss to the Indianapolis Colts. Alabama 2007 season, 2008 season, 2009 season, 2010 season, 2011 season, 2012 season, 2013 season, 2014 season, 2015 season, 2016 season, 2017 season, 2018 season, 2019 season, 2020 season, 2021 season, 2022 season. Personal life. Saban is a devout Catholic who attends Mass before games. The Sabans attend St. Francis of Assisi University Parish in Tuscaloosa. St. Francis Parish priest, Father Gerald Holloway, served as a chaplain for the football team before he was transferred. Saban is of Croatian heritage. Bill Belichick and Saban are good friends. When Belichick spoke about their relationship, he said, "Two successful Croats in the same division of NFL. You must admit, you don't see that every day." Saban shares his last name with another famous football coach, Lou Saban. They were called distant cousins in a 2005 article where Lou comments on the younger Saban's success. Upon the death of Lou Saban, his widow Joyce Saban said the two men might have been second cousins, but their families say they are not related. Saban made a cameo appearance as himself in the 2009 film The Blind Side, and requested to simply repeat a conversation he had with Michael O'Hare rather than follow the script, which director John Lee Hancock allowed him to do. In August 2010, the documentary Nick Saban, Game Changer was released. Included in the film are interviews from Belichick and Alabama athletic director Mal Moore, among others. Saban and his wife Terry have been married for over 45 years. They have two children, Nicholas and Kristen. The Sabans are the co-founders of the foundation Nick's Kids. This foundation has been used by the Sabans to help support children's needs ever since Saban started head coaching. In the first 3 years at Alabama, Nick's Kids raised more than $1 million. Saban owns a vacation home on Lake Burton in northeast Georgia. Outside of football, Saban keeps in touch with his players, taking a mentor role to his former players. Saban not only speaks with NFL players, but former athletes that have moved on past football, such as Eric Anders, linebacker turned pro fighter in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. In 2022, Saban Co. signed a letter directed at Senator Joe Manchin, voicing support for the passage of the Freedom to Vote Act, while including a footnote that he does not support the removal of the filibuster in the Senate. Saban and Manchin grew up together in West Virginia, and Saban had previously endorsed Manchin for Senate in 2018. Coaching tree. Saban is from the Don James coaching tree. After Saban finished his degree at Kent State in 1972, James convinced him to join the Kent State coaching staff as a graduate assistant. Saban's coaching career also encompasses the Bill Belichick coaching tree, having worked as his defensive coordinator during Belichick's tenure as head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Saban also worked with Belichick's father, Steve, while on the staff together at Navy in 1982. Head coaching tree under Saban. L.C. Cole, Tennessee State, Alabama State, Stillman. Dean Pease, Kent State. Bobby Williams, Michigan State. Tom Amstutz, Toledo. Mark D'Antonio, Cincinnati, Michigan State. Brad Salem, Augustana. Scott Linehan, St. Louis Rams. Derek Dooley, Louisiana Tech, Tennessee. Greg Colby, Millersville. Josh McDaniels, Denver Broncos, Las Vegas Raiders. Mike Haywood, Miami, Texas Southern. Jimbo Fisher, Florida State, Texas A&M. Jason Garrett, Dallas Cowboys. Kurt Cignetti, IUP, Elon, James Madison. Pat Shurmur, Cleveland Browns, New York Giants. Will Muschamp, Florida, South Carolina. Mike Mularkey, Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans. Jim McElwain, Colorado State, Florida, Central Michigan. Brian Polian, Nevada. Dan Quinn, Atlanta Falcons. Adam Gase, Miami Dolphins, New York Jets. Kirby Smart, Georgia. Major Applewhite, Houston. Jeff Collins, Temple, Georgia Tech. Mario Cristobal, Oregon, Miami. Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss. Jeremy Pruitt, Tennessee. Billy Napier, Louisiana, Florida. Mike Locksley, Maryland. Mel Tucker, Colorado, Michigan State. Freddie Kitchens, Cleveland Browns. Joe Judge, New York Giants. Butch Jones, Arkansas State. Steve Sarkisian, Texas. Charles Huff, Marshall. Dan Lanning, Oregon. Ron Cooper, Lou. Brian Dable, New York Giants players under Saban that became head coaches. Herb Haygood, Madonna. Matt Eberflus, Chicago Bears. Head coaching record. College. NFL. See also. List of college football coaches with 200 wins.